Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Mastering the Charts and New Futures Trading Bootcamp Showcase. Thank you all so much for joining us this afternoon and taking time out of your day to be here with us. We are extremely happy you're here. We have a ton of information to share with you guys and go over that are going to enlighten the way that you see the price charts and really having you seen them like never before. So keep in mind that as I'm talking, Jeff is going to be keeping an eye on the chat for you guys. So any questions that you have, please feel free to type them in the chat. He's going to be keeping an eye on that. We're going to make sure that we get all your questions answered throughout this session. So we also want it to be very interactive and engaging. So, if at any point you do have a question or a comment, please let us know. We're here to get all those addressed for you in this 90 minutes. So the purpose of the showcase and our upcoming events is to increase your ability to identify those high probability turning points in the markets. Not only that, but having you seen the charts more clearly and building your confidence throughout the way. So the key thing with this is how are we going to be able to do that? So how we do that is being able to teach you the 7 foundational steps that when you know these, you're going to be seeing the price charts in a whole new light. So we're going to be kind of showcasing that for you guys throughout this session, as well as our new futures trading bootcamp, which we have consolidated from a 2-week bootcamp into a more compact 3-day event that we're happy to share with each and every one of you. So get ready for this. Again, if you're just joining us, make sure your chat is on, you're typing in any questions that you have so we can get those addressed throughout the session. So a couple of disclosures. The information contained within this presentation should not be construed as a recommendation or an offer to buy or sell any security or financial instrument solely for educational and informational purposes only, especially for those of you who are new to our trading style and the way that we visualize the price charts. It's all about a very specific picture that we teach you. Once you know what this picture looks like, it applies to any asset class, which is, one of the amazing things about it is that if you trade stocks, it applies to you, futures, Forex, even options. Once you can visualize that picture on the price charts, you can implement it with any asset class and any time frame. So keep an open mind that, again, this applies to everything. So we need to be flexible with looking at different products, different asset classes, as well as being able to turn the time frame up or down to see this picture on the price charts. So glad to see everyone here. Brian, thank you for being here. William, let's jump right into it now. So welcome to our Mastering the Charts showcase. Thank you for joining us. The purpose of the event is to change the way that you trade in the markets. That's a pretty bold statement, but we're looking at, again, pictures on the price charts that can open our eyes to where those unfilled buy and sell orders are at. Now, our philosophy here at the Elite Trade is to have you look at the price charts and know exactly where your setup is to get a desired trade result. So take a look at this picture here. This is what you'll be learning in Mastering the Charts, is how to identify a very specific setup to gauge where we're looking for higher probability results. So this is a setup that we went through, and take a look on the right-hand side. Some of our students took advantage of this trade setup. Now, what we're going to be doing is that our approach to teaching is knowing how to set this up. This is what you're going to be learning, is knowing how to draw support and resistance. Where do we have the 3 touches of resistance here? How do we draw a buy territory? What does that picture look like? And then ultimately, we take that information on the left-hand side to gauge where our trade opportunity is on the right-hand side of the chart. So we're going to be teaching you all of this during our 3-day Mastering the Charts event so you can ultimately identify these setups as well. So that's the key thing, is that once you know how to do this and be able to identify these setups, you're going to be able to identify those higher probability trade opportunities on the right-hand side of the chart. So what we're going to be doing is identifying key turning points in the markets, regardless of what asset class you trade and what time frames you look at. The key thing here is that we're going to be filling in the gaps that may have been missing in your trading education. So by filling in the gaps, why I can say this with confidence is because this is what our students tell us time and time again. So you'll notice that coming up, we have a lot of testimonials from our students, and we're excited to share those with you guys today. So it's all about the picture on the price charts. Now take a look at this chart here. We can see that we have a buy territory on the left-hand side, and then ultimately we have a successful long opportunity on the right-hand side of the chart. So especially in these volatile market conditions, gaining a clear understanding of how to read the price charts is going to be key. So our focus in mastering the charts is being able to simplify the complexities of trading by looking left, understanding why we look left, visualizing support and resistance. So this is something key that our students say is huge in identifying where those buy and sell opportunities are at. Identifying where price changes direction and why is also key. And then understanding the importance of adjusting timeframes. So ultimately, we want you to be able to identify where to buy and where to sell in these markets. Key thing with this, though, is again, going back to the volatile market conditions, is that if you can understand how to maneuver and trade volatile market conditions, you'll be able to that much more clearly be able to understand how to identify the smoother market conditions. So again, how we'll maneuver this is by conducting a pre-market routine Monday morning with a comprehensive prep screen and mastering the charts to be able to better assess the volatility and the market conditions. So before we even start trading, we need to have a clear understanding of what's going on in the markets, what the market conditions are, understanding are there economic reports coming out, are there big news announcements. These key things are going to be huge, just understanding what to expect for the trading day. So understanding how we maneuver the market conditions starts with that prep screen. Being able to gain a deeper insight with news announcements, earnings reports, key indicators, and more. Understanding and identifying trending trades versus counter trend trades. That's also huge. So we want to, for people who know me, I'm a big trend trader where I want to be trading with the trend to take advantage of some of those momentum moves in the markets. And then identifying ultimately those high probability buy and sell opportunities. Then we conclude everything. So we start our day with a prep screen, and then we construct a recap screen at the end of Monday's session of mastering the charts to identify open trade opportunities. So we know a lot of times we'll set up our trade opportunities, but sometimes they don't necessarily hit during that session. So we need to be able to understand how we can set up our trade results or our trade opportunities, and then anticipate that they may, pan out over the next few days, a few weeks, but ultimately it's all about that picture on the price charts. And ultimately we want to be able to identify where to buy and where to sell and finding those key turning points in the markets. So how we're going to do that, again, just talked a little bit about this already. Actually, did I just go back? Let's see. There we go. Okay, so jumping to our prep screen again, this is just to give you an overview of what we look at. We're focused on very specific setups when we start our day in the markets versus being, some traders are a little bit all over the place with looking for buy opportunities, sell opportunities. We want to be very focused and hone in on the highest probability setups. So in order to set ourselves up for success, we create this prep screen with our zones, trading tip of the day, go over what's in the news, economic reports, breakout trades, things like that to get us a broader feel of what's going to be going on in the markets for that day. And then, as I mentioned, we recap at the end with our recap screen. Here's an example from one of our sessions where we have our buy and sell opportunities on the equity index futures, the S&P, NASDAQ, Russell, Dow. So again, these were setups that didn't hit that day, but we still want to keep an eye on those for future days as they may hit later in time. So experience the live trading room on Monday just to get a feel for how we're trading is that, a lot of times our setups are hitting from our prep screen, our recap screen. So we give this information out to you ahead of time so you can mark your charts to identify where we're looking for those long trade setups and short trade setups, all about the information on the left-hand side, which we're going to be doing a deeper dive with you guys today. All right, so here we go, identifying and teaching you what a past picture perfect trade setup looks like. So this is our foundation for what we look for in the step-by-step guide as far as what that picture on the price chart looks like and how we can strengthen our foundation to be able to identify the highest probability trade setups. So what we look for, the importance of looking left. This is really our huge foundation as far as understanding the information on the left-hand side of the chart is critical to understanding where price is going to change direction on the right-hand side of the chart. Support and resistance as well. This is going to get us in the right locations. Buy territories, sell territories, understanding what these are and how to draw them, being able to draw structures, areas, location. How we're also different is that we've honed in on a very specific group of candles where price often changes direction. That's what we consider the elite trade's own leg base. So we'll do a deeper dive of that as well in mastering the charts and show you how price comes back to that leg base group of candles. That's where we're looking for price to ultimately change direction. And then the importance of adjusting time frames. So we need to think of it as a picture on the price chart that we want to make clearer. So by turning the time frame down or turning the time frame up, we can hone in on what that exact picture looks like to find those high probability entry points. Overall, these 7 key steps are a way for us to simplify and reinvent the way that you all look at the price charts. So we'll be looking for very specific pictures that we can verify on the price charts by going through step-by-step processes, making it interactive. So again, any questions that you ever have in the sessions, we want to know what you think and what you feel as that matters for us in our teachings. We want to be able to tailor our sessions to you guys and the questions that you have. So keeping it interactive with quizzes, with walkthroughs, that's been a great way for our students to learn and reinforce what they've been learning. Simplify, we're going to break it down and make it less confusing. So for me, when I first started trading, at a different trading education company, I just found it so overwhelming, so confusing. So I had to go a different route, ultimately working with Jeff to learn how to simplify trading, make it less complicated. So just really excited to share that with you guys in our showcase today. And then, as I mentioned, learning reinforcement throughout our sessions with quizzes, examples, Q&A all the time. Another thing that we've added, if you were in our last Mastering the Charts class, you remember that we've added this, but upon completion of the Mastering the Charts, students get an additional 1 month of the Tuesday and Wednesday Mastering the Charts recap sessions. Those will be from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern time to implement the new strategies that you learned. So keep in mind, it's not just 3 days, you're gone. We want to really ensure that you're learning what we've been teaching, implementing the new strategies that you learned, and being able to ask questions with us in those Tuesday, Wednesday recap sessions. So what our students say about Mastering the Charts, we are so appreciative and proud of our students. This is just some of our testimonials. But you can see each student has a different journey, a different experience with mastering the charts. One student says that they spent thousands, trying to learn how to trade and even losing money in the markets. And that's something that we want to fix. Trading education doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be confusing. Our goal here at the Elite Trade is really to simplify and reinvent the way that we teach trading. Just skipping down to the third one, another student spent a lot of time and money learning how to do it wrong, but there's ways to do it in a way that is clear for you guys and to make it simpler. So that's really our goal, is to make it less confusing, simplify it, reinforce it with the recap sessions, the Q&A, things like that, to hone in on the most important things that you guys need to learn. And then here, just more information about the dates. So it'll be December 10th, 11th, and 12th, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern time. That's giving you 3 full days, 7 hours a day of intensive and interactive trading education. So ultimately knowing when to buy and when to sell during these volatile market conditions. In total, that's going to be 42 hours plus of trading education. So really our goal is to give you as much time as possible to try out our approach, to learn how to read the price charts and implement it during our 1 month of recap sessions, December 13th through January 4th, as well as one additional month of the instructor-led Discord sessions. Those are December 15th through January 6th. And then as always, all recordings, content, supplementary materials are provided to you guys after the sessions. So we know a lot of you guys may have to leave early or can only come for part of it. So keep in mind, we want to give you guys a holiday discount for this course since it is happening in December. Really excited about this. If you go to theelitetrade.com, when you go to checkout, make sure you type in the promo code JOY for that $300 discount. So normally it's $14.95, but you'll get it for $11.95 this time only. So really encourage you, if you want to take advantage of the 3-day course plus the 1 month of the Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Friday sessions. Really, you're spending almost 5 days a week with us. I would use that code JOY to get it for $11.95. You can also scan the QR code here as well. And then a little bit about our micro futures and the new futures trading bootcamp. So as I mentioned, it used to be a 2-week, pretty jam-packed course, but we've consolidated it into a 3-day course. We're going to be talking about micros and how that's a great way to maneuver these volatile market conditions and still being able to trade while managing your risk and learning how to maneuver these market conditions along the way. So if you can, trade these market conditions with the micros, then you can ultimately trade the full size contracts as well. So what micros are is same thing as trading regular futures contracts, but you're using less capital, which can reduce your risk on each trade. By trading micro futures in these volatile market conditions, you can significantly improve your skills for trading regular futures contracts, even when the market conditions are not as volatile as they are now. And then another thing that we've added is learning how to trade futures with less than $1,000 of capital. So we understand a lot of you guys may have a limited budget, or you just may not want to be tying up as much capital on your trade setups. So by trading micros, we can really reduce our risk on each trade setup and trade with less than $1,000 of capital. So the dates for that is going to be November 30th through December 2nd, 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, only $295. I know here we say for beginner and intermediate students, but we've found that even the more advanced traders benefit from this course as well, and just understanding the foundation as far as trading futures in this 3-day course. Again, some testimonials from our previous students. I don't need to read through all of them, but if you want to see these, you can email us. But just some of the takeaways from our students, here's one of our students that added about 30% of knowledge to her current knowledge base. That's huge. As long as our knowledge is growing, that's ultimately what we want to be smarter, more confident traders. John really enjoyed the quizzes, the questions, and the interaction, which we want to keep going throughout all our courses. And John said, the importance of looking left is going to be key in learning how to trade the right-hand side of the chart. So again, our boot camp, November 30th through December 2nd, 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. To register for that, you can either go to our website, which is theelitetrade.com, or you can also scan the barcode, which is going to be right here. And then if there's any questions, feel free to let me know. I think Jeff's been on top of them. I'm going to pass it over to him now, so get ready for his part. He's someone who I admire so much in trading and who's really taught me a lot of the things that I know. So make sure you pay attention to what he's going to be showcasing you guys, going into some of the highlights of the Elite Trades Mastering the Charts, being able to look left on the price charts, which is key to seeing what information we need to learn, and also see what our students say about our courses and our trading. So I'm going to pass it over to him. Jeff, it's all yours. And thank you guys for your time.
Great job. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Caitlin, for kicking us off. In this section, I'm going to do a little teaching, kind of bring you in to show you some of the highlights of what we do in Mastering the Charts. And if you were with me at a previous company, which I did Training the Eyes with my partner now, and with Caitlin, we have expanded that whole picture. And as she talked about simplifying things and putting things together, she's really a lot of the brains and the power behind what we've built here at the Elite Trade. And Mastering the Charts is our kind of our flagship course that everybody goes through and gets some of those foundational points, step-by-step process. Looking left on the price chart is absolutely key, and knowing what you're looking at over there or looking for is a very big part of what we do here. It's not just what's happening right there on the right side of the chart, because you really never know. We have to have like a forward-looking technique. And some of the ways that we do that is by looking left and seeing what information is over to the left-hand side to help us visualize the right-hand side. Before I jump into this real quick, I do want to bring up, as Caitlin mentioned earlier, we have the prep screen zones and things like that. I do have a few orders working. I'm looking, have an order set out there on for the Dow, selling short 34,158. We're always trading, especially doing some classes when the market's open. We're still watching and monitoring everything. S&P looking for that 4,018, looking for a trade there as that is playing out. We do have a Discord group, which we'll talk about a little bit later and show you some highlights of that. And one of the things that we post in there is additional trade setups. Now, the ones that are in green are the ones that have traded today, and we're currently watching gold. Gold's down in a zone. So that we're very active in what we do and how we present. And so much of the time we're doing live trading with the students, not only in the live trading room, but in a Discord room ongoing, because all of you are working and looking for those trade opportunities. So just wanted to kind of give you a heads up on what I'm looking at there as far as trade opportunities. They may trigger now, or they may trigger a little bit later, but the order is sitting out there and waiting at this point. Okay. I'm not looking necessarily for a trend change, but we are looking for price to change direction where we can capitalize on some of them short-term trades. Now, some of the basics. We have a lot of students from many different backgrounds, different understandings about trading the markets. So understanding why price changes direction, okay, is a very big part of understanding our methodology and our approach. Now, price only ever changes direction if there is a larger stack of buy tickets or sell tickets, okay? Now, what we are looking for is that footprint of where the banks and institutional traders have leftover unfilled orders, okay? So the chart that we see here in front of us, we can see that this was an area over here where there were more sell tickets and buy tickets. And we know that there were more sell tickets because if there were more buy tickets, price would have continued to go up, okay? Now, that picture on the price chart leaves a very distinct footprint. When we look to the left, we see that price respected that area. Now, in a few moments, I'm going to take you into a little deeper dive to what we look at exactly in that area and give you some of the highlights, okay? So why price changes direction? It's a very, very simple concept. There's more buy tickets down at a demand, and there's more sell tickets than buy tickets at a supply area. Price often returns to those areas and then changes direction again. Now, our job is not to take the trade here. Our job is to take the trade over here on the right side of the chart. So these areas where price changes directions can be and used as a forward-looking technique, looking to take a trade on the right side. Now, part of that visualization process is making sure that students follow a step-by-step process. And the step-by-step process is so specific, so detailed, and you must be willing to adjust the time frame up or down to get the exact picture. It's kind of like holding a piece of paper up against your computer screen and then adjusting the price up and down so it fits within that template. Now, that does a lot for our visualization process. And as we walk step by step through this, we take and break things down. We have specific structures that we're looking for. We have an area within those structures. And then we have the elite trades, leg-based group of candles. And part of what we're going to demonstrate today is, any place you desire to have taken a trade on the price chart. Now, again, we'll start with the left-hand side of the chart so that people know what exactly a picture perfect hash trade looks like, okay? And it's really important to understand what a successful trade looks like on the price chart. And then looking left and dissecting all that information, putting stacks and stacks of information together so that when you do take the risk on the trade, you know what that risk is, dollar amount, number of points. And if you're willing to accept that, then you have the opportunity to make that trade, okay? So part of what we do here is identifying some very specific groups of candles. This is one of the first exercises we can walk you through. The leg-based group of candles is a very specific group of candles we're looking for buy and sell opportunities. Now, this is not the first thing we look for. It's the final thing where we identify our entry line and our stop line, okay? And the parameters of where we can gauge and manage our risk. We look for this group of candles inside our buy and sell territories. And this is where we often find those unfilled orders that are still left over. Now, I really like the way that Kaylin put all this together, talking about the assessment, okay? So what are we really assessing on the left-hand side of the chart? Well, we're looking for where there were more sell tickets than buy tickets. Remembering, price only changes direction when we have more sellers than buyers or more buyers than sellers, okay? That's it, okay? So we look for that picture on the price chart where sellers kept coming in and pushing price down. Many of you know this as a resistance level. And we talk about support and resistance in all of this. So we have the resistance, and we also have below that area would be where all the buyers are at. And we call that a buy territory. As we outline the structure within that buy territory, it helps us locate and identify where we have high probability areas where we can find the leg-based group of candles. So the result of using the resistance, the buy territory, location, and of course, the leg-based group of candles, we achieve the desired outcome where price dipped right in the area. This picture on the left-hand side of the chart has fully exploited that there are the potential of unfilled orders is still there. Now let's flip this over. For a setup assessment going short, well, we've got to find where the buyers kept pushing price up, and we also have to see where the sellers kept pushing price down. So we have that sell territory up above a support area, okay? Now, using the structure within the sell territory can help us pinpoint the area where we can look for that leg-based group of candles. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the leg-based group of candles, I'm going to walk you through a couple of examples, okay? Now, the assessment, all this information over on the left-hand side of the chart is what produced a desired trade. The distance between our entry line of selling short and our stop line is what the risk is involved on our price on taking that trade, okay? So I got a couple of examples I'm going to exploit with you. And I heard we just got an order filled, so I'm not sure what I got filled on natural gas. Sorry. Yeah, I've been waiting for that one to play out. For all of you that are participating in commodities, things like that, keep in mind, we are now, the last trade date for natural gas is on the 28th. So we should start to expect looking for some sell territories and looking for a downtrend on the front month contract of natural gas. There's a lot of details that we go into in our live trading room, okay? But I'm happy to be out of that. That was a great little trade setup. And I took that option trade here on the natural gas exchange traded fund, okay? So I'll pass on that for a moment, but let's come back over here, okay? Some of the first things that we need to do here, okay, is find and understand what it is, what we want to create on the price chart, okay? Now, when we look at a price chart, we have to first look at it and say, well, gosh, what would I like to have done? Okay, well, for me, just looking at this, I'm saying, you know, that right there would have been a great trade to take short. I mean, how many would have loved to get right in that tick there and taking that whole move down? Okay. So in mastering the charts, we focus on what we want to create. We start looking at price charts. Man, I wish I would have gone long at the bottom. You know, love to take this long trade right there. Love to take that short trade. Now, in doing so, we must be willing to adjust the time frame to see if there's an exact picture. This first little exercise, what I'm going to do is say this area is where I desired to make a trade. Okay, but I needed some information over here on the left-hand side of the chart. And the information I needed is to understand what my risk would be. Now, in simple terms, a leg candle here at the elite trade is a candle where the body is greater than 50% of the range. A base candle is where a body would, or a candle where the body is less than 50% of the range. Okay. We use a combination of those candles. First, we find a desired trade. We adjust the time frame up or down to get that group of candles and to get that picture that we look for on the price chart. So desired trade, looking over to the left, I'm then able to identify the entry line and the stop line around that group of candles, which then this makes the opportunity of that if and when price comes back into this area, I want to take a trade short, okay? Now, one of the great, fantastic things about this is that this group of candles is present and price did change direction. So that, I mean, this is where we're making those associations. Why did price change direction? Well, there were more sell tickets than buy tickets over here. This area, okay, and the group of candles were present when there were more buy tickets and sell tickets, an abundance of sell tickets. More sell tickets were left over at that point. We got a strong move away from that area. And as price returned to that area, we see the result of more sell tickets at that. Now let's come over here. Now, this is a desired trade down below, but I don't quite have my leg base group of candles here. Okay. So in looking for that leg base group of candles, we just adjust the time frame. So I'll go from 480, let's try 120. Now, I don't know which, oh, it worked out pretty good. You get faster and faster at this the more you practice. Okay. Now, so this is our desired trade. When we look left, we're looking for that leg base group of candles. And when trading stocks, we have to anticipate that if there is a gap, we treat that as a leg candle. Okay. But you can see in this instance that with that group of candles, we created a zone, an area where we expected there to be more sell tick or more buy tickets than sell tickets. Okay. And one more little odds enhancer here. You notice I have the group of candles, leg base, of course, with the gap. And the leg candles leaving the entry line. Okay, so if we collect all of those leg candles leaving, okay, you can see that they're bigger. Okay, bigger than what? Well, they're bigger than the leg candle that we have inside the zone. Now, just a little piece of information with that. When that whole piece right there, and we also, let's see, we got the three touches over here. We got our resistance. There's a lot of detail, okay? But the detail of the leg base, and the leg candles leaving the entry line are bigger than the one in the zone. You can use that area twice. You can use that zone twice. Okay, so you won't, by collecting that information and knowing it, you'll take a first test for a shorter term trade. And then when price comes back and goes deeper into that range, you'll be willing to take it as it leaves. Okay. So first steps is find a place on the price chart you desire to make a trade. Adjust the time frame up or down. Find that leg base group of candles. Now I can already see that some of you might say, well, maybe I want this as my desired trade. And if I look left, all I see is kind of a little basing area. Again, we're 120-minute chart, so we could turn down the time frame in this zone. Let's start with let's go down to a 30-minute time frame. Now, as we start looking at that 30-minute time frame, we've altered the time frame to get the exact right picture. Now, we already know the trade worked. We're just looking for evidence that was there. Now, I'm going to speed this up just a tad, so I've got lots to cover with you. Every candle that has a little blue dot on it is just a base candle, okay? Now, on a 30-minute chart, I still didn't have the right picture. So now I'm just going to adjust it by 1 minute, go down to 29. And see, it's not about the time frame, it's about getting the right picture, okay? So we're going to look for the leg in, the base, a leg out, and a base. Okay. So I'm going to keep adjusting the time frame till I get that exact right picture. And look at that, 28-minute. Now, what's so special about a 28-minute chart? Nothing. Okay, it just has the right picture. And you can see now that we have a red leg candle in, some base candles, like green leg candle out, showing the direction. And we place our stop line and our entry line. We captured that group of candles, isolated it, and we can see that price respected the area. So the more that we do this, we start to see that price changes direction where they were leftover unfilled orders. So it's really fascinating to share in that discovery. Now, the specific candles where price changes direction is what we call our leg base group of candles. I just mentioned we adjusted the timeframes up or down, and then we start looking for other supporting evidence on the left-hand side of the chart. That often leads us to a greater understanding of where the larger stack of unfilled orders are there. Now, it's not just about the price chart. We do look at things outside the price chart. We look at see what the dollar's doing. We look and see what other indexes are doing, and a lot of correlations. So the pre-market routine and the prep that we do for our live trading rooms are very great places to hang out with us each morning so that you will start to tie in all those pieces of the puzzle, information outside the price chart as well as inside on the price chart. Using these conjunctions to see the bigger picture and how they work together. This will help you focus precisely on where to look in the buy and sell. Okay, so with our leg base specific group of candles, we see so many times that price changes direction. It's why we start you off with the exercise. Find a place on the price chart where you have a desired trade. Then look left and start to see the details that are to the left-hand side of the chart that made a picture perfect past trade. Okay. See, by understanding the left-hand side of the chart, we have hundreds and thousands of picture perfect past trades. We learn from these. We start looking at all the characteristics to help us see when things are more probable for a desired outcome. In training the eyes, okay, to see that picture on the price chart, again, it's a picture, it's not a time frame. Now, we do use time frames to help people gather information, okay? Bigger picture trends often are easier to participate, or higher time frame trends, we want to use that as additional information to be on the right side of things. But we also want to see the playing field, okay? Train the eyes to see those pictures on the price chart by adjusting the time frames up or down. When we know what to look for on the left-hand side of the chart, we can better anticipate the right-hand side of the chart, okay? So a large part of what we cover and what we teach is finding in the beginning, picture perfect past trades that have already worked, have a desired trade. Oh, I'd love to have that move. Yes. Okay. Then look to the left. Well, what's there? Well, I got that leg base group of candles. I got resistance. I got a buy territory. I got a breakout. Okay. That says it took out all of the sell orders at that point. No more sells at the origin of that move, leftover orders. Okay. All right. You guys ready for a quiz? I know I've given you a lot of information already, but how many are ready for a quiz? Ready or not, here it comes. And you can use the chat. Hi, Brian. Glad to have you here. Oh, thanks for that, Angela. So, question, why is it important to look left? A, to visualize the structures, shapes, and patterns. B, identify an imbalance of orders. C, identify leg base group of candles. There you go. Look at that. Great job, everybody. Yes, the answer is D. Okay. This is what you learn in mastering the charts, is where to look for that. Now, I do want to encourage you that the time frames don't matter. Also, it's the shape of the picture. Okay. Let me take you just a quick glimpse right back out to, when the markets are tight in a tight range, have been going sideways or just channeling up. Sometimes we have to drop down to the tick chart to find that picture on the price chart. Okay. So when we are looking, I have the S&P, I'm watching it on a 2000 tick chart. And I need to find areas on here where I potentially would have an opportunity to go long in the context of this uptrend. So as I start with the current price and I go down and I find that first resistance area. Now, this is the area where price met sellers a few times. Sellers came in, was priced down, and so on. Okay. Now, the area below this is what we make reference to as our buy territory. Okay. And in this buy territory is where we find our leg base group of candles. Okay. Now, this is what we would be doing in the Discord room or even in our Zoom sessions, okay, is outlining where we would be looking for the next stack of unfilled orders, okay, by getting that picture on the price chart. And now by drilling down in time, let's put those little blue dots on, make it faster. I find that I have a leg base group of candles right here. And a leg base is so specific that a computer can even replicate it. Okay. Now, as I have the information, that does not mean also that I have a trade immediately. Price needs to come back down to that area to find it. Jeff, with this, does the move away concern you? Well, the move going through the resistance area is a very viable price because it took out all the sellers. Okay. Oh, great question. Is the zone still fresh or has it been used up? Okay. When we start looking at this area as a zone, in the elite trade, we qualify our zones with this is still, and it is now, a fresh and active zone. Okay. What activated this zone for a potential trade is when price moved away from that zone greater than 2-to-1. Okay. See, if it just goes out and back in, that's not big enough for that move away. Okay. Price must move away from that. And that's when the zone becomes active once it moves 2-to-1 away. See, we have different types of zones we'll talk about: a pending zone, a fresh zone, fresh and active zone, tested, broken, so on. And you need to know the different types of zones. Okay. Because here is a very clear picture of what we teach. And if and when price comes back here, we expect there to be some unfilled orders. Okay. All right. Now, I'm not sure if Chris joined us today or not, but this lady, little lady here, I'm really proud of. Okay, Chris G. Okay, Chris is about 73, yeah, and she's been with us and documenting some information about the crude oil reports. Now is her tomorrow will be the 20th week that she's been documenting this. And at first it was a little bit bumpy as she put things together, but look what she's doing now. It's amazing details. Okay, for 20 weeks she's been documenting how far price moved up or down. When I need to hurry up. I'm sorry. In bringing out this information, and now she's using it in trading with natural gas. These are clips that our students are sharing with us in our Discord room, okay, and taking snapshots and pictures. So it's really an amazing process. So what you get in the Mastering the Charts event, okay, we have Mastering the Charts coming up December 10th, 11th, and 12th, be Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Monday is a live trading. Saturday and Sunday go pretty fast, and there's a lot of details that we bring in there to build up the foundational points. 3 full days, 7 hours a day of intense interactive trading education. And what we've started to add on is the 1 month of the recap session. Okay, so today and tomorrow, Tuesday and Wednesday, we do a 2-hour class each Tuesday and Wednesday. And we go back into understanding how to work the live trading room and how to keep going with the process that we teach. We also have some instructor-led Discord group sessions, which are kind of an extension of the live trading room, but it's a little more loose. It's where all the students have a mic, they can interact and share with us their screens, and we're just traders helping traders in there. Now, all recordings and content and supplementary materials are provided to help with that education process. Yeah. Now, see that barcode right there? If you have an interest at this point, go ahead and scan that barcode, and you can use the promo code JOY and get another $300 off of our $14.95 price. Okay. Now, coming back to that, 42 hours of total trading education. If you continue to go on with this in the live trading room, then it just keeps going on and on and on. Okay. It'll be really exciting to have you there. If you're brand new to trading futures, if you're trading with a smaller account, just getting started off, join our 3-day boot camp. Our 3-day boot camp is to help students see and understand a little more of the detail of what we look for on the price chart, how we support students, and also to learn to trade some of the micro contracts. So where you're using an account smaller than, well, you don't need more than $1,000 worth of capital to make that work. Okay. So use that barcode in the corner, go ahead and scan it, and it'll take you right to the process there. Okay. And I'm going to pass the mic back over to Ms. Caitlin, and we'll continue right on.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jeff. Great job. Let's continue with one of the subjects that I haven't seen a lot of other trading education companies kind of talk about, but I feel that it's very important to our learning, is understanding unsuccessful trades. So not only do we want to focus on successful trades, but we want to learn, what trade setups don't work and why. Extremely important, so that we're not making those same mistakes over and over again. We want to learn from them and then improve our trading moving forward. So the purpose of unsuccessful trades is to visualize these past mistakes that went uncorrected and be able to learn a different way of looking at the price charts. You've been seeing Jeff illustrate that time and time again. It's all about the picture on the price charts. Once we can visualize what that picture looks like, we're going to have a clear way of visualizing where to buy and sell in the future. So there are common mistakes that people make that we will address and show you how to be a more methodical, rule-based, and specific trader. That's key as far as having specific rules, what we look at, versus being, some traders are a little bit all over the place with where they're buying and selling. but we want to be very systematic, very specific with what we're looking for so that we can be disciplined moving forward. We'll implement this by showing you a step-by-step process that focuses on training the eyes. So understanding unsuccessful trades, is this a good place to sell? I just want to show you, we're looking at Facebook. Here is one area that maybe a student marked as a zone. Would you guys take a short trade here as price is coming back up to this zone? I just want you to type in the chat, is this a place that you would take a short trade at, or would you pass on this trade setup? What do you guys think? If this is what you pull up on your chart, you're looking at Facebook, are you guys going to take a short trade here? Or are you going to say maybe not the right picture on the price charts? Brian says pass. All right, anyone else want to take a guess? Keep it to see if it'll go higher. Okay, I like that answer, Nancy. William says no. Ken says he's passing on it. What ultimately the goal is in mastering the charts is that we're all going to have the same answer with this setup. It's either we're all going to be taking it or we're all not going to be taking it. Vikram says maybe. All right, so a little hesitant. William, you nailed it. The higher zone is leg base, leg base. Have you seen this one before? Very good eye though. Yeah, Kenneth has it too. No leg base, leg base. So you guys are starting to see that the pictures on the price chart is what we're looking for in choosing which trade setups we're going to take. But ultimately, even though this is where Facebook previously had a strong move down, the trade setup failed. So our zone actually just got blown right through and then ultimately went down. So keep in mind, this is an unsuccessful trade. So in understanding this, we don't want to just pass on this and move on and keep making trades that are unsuccessful. We need to understand what exactly is missing in this setup here. So what's missing? We want to look to the left-hand side. So the information to the left is going to have that information we've been starting to showcase with you guys today. So this is something that, happened to me a lot when I first started trading, but how many of you would have been stopped out just for price to go in your direction after? This was a very frustrating feeling for me, is when I would choose the right direction, but somehow I would get stopped out and feel that people knew where my stops were at. They would stop me out and then it would just continue to move in the direction anyways. So I know that feeling. The key thing here is that the answer may have been to the left. So clue right there is we want to look a little bit further to the left to see what information is there. Yeah, Cindy knows, Kenneth, exactly. It's a frustrating thing, but when that happens, again, we want to assess what happened with that picture and look a little bit further to the left-hand side of the chart. So putting the pieces together, this is what you're going to learn in mastering the charts, is being able to see, do we have the 3 touches? Now this is a support level that got blown through. We can see that there's a structure here where price was making these pivot points. We made a high point here, and we also had the leg base, as Kenneth mentioned, and William, the higher zone is leg base. Yeah, we want to find that very specific group of candles, which is where price often changes direction. See, William says, although I might pass on that zone too, because it would be a high risk zone. Exactly. Now, tying off of that, if a zone is too high of risk, let's see, the Facebook, this was a 12-minute zone. Keep in mind, one of the things that we're talking about is how we want to be flexible with turning the time frame down and turn the time frame up. If we turn the time frame down, we know we still have 12 more time frames we could go down. We may be able to reduce the size of the zone even more, so we're not taking as much risk on this trade setup. So in this case, our risk might be 338 to 343. That might be too wide of a zone to take, but by being flexible with the time frame, we can reduce the size of our zones and reduce the risk on those trade setups. Hey, Nancy, let's see. In other words, you are not falling in love with your stocks because you love the company, right? Good point. No. So it's all about the picture on the price chart, no matter what company it is. This is Facebook, but whether it's a company that I like, if I like Facebook, if I don't like Facebook, I'm still seeing this picture on the price chart, and I'm going to be more apt to trade it because it has the picture. So it's not whether I like a chart or a company or not, but more about the picture on the price chart. So when we see all that combined, now we can see price coming up into it. It was testing this zone over on the left-hand side, just going to zoom in. This is the area we needed to be looking in versus this area here. So what you'll learn in mastering the charts is that this is a retest or a pivot point, not a place to sell. So understanding the difference between pivot points and zones is key to understanding whether we're going to take a trade setup or not. So if you did say you were going to take a trade here or you were thinking about it, keep in mind, this may be a subject you want to learn more about, is understanding the difference between a pivot and a zone. Let's see. Exactly, Kenneth. Yeah, this is where micros help, especially in these volatile market conditions. And, if zones are too big, trading the micros, we can reduce our risk, manage it a little bit more closely. I'm a big fan of those, and you'll see us trading those a lot. So micros are huge, especially in these market conditions. So let's see, is that 2 or 3 touches? Well, it looks like we have our first test would be, I don't think the lines are quite matching up, but we have 1 test here, 2 tests, 3 tests, and then price actually has a 4th test here and broke through lower. So even though we're on the 12-minute time frame, that's where being flexible with the time frames is so important. If we went down to maybe the 5-minute, we could see more detail of those touches. But just off the bat, I can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4. If it's unclear, you don't quite see it. So this picture may be not quite as clear, and going down to the smaller time frames is going to help you see more detail in those price charts. So one example real quick, I just want to show you guys real time is looking at the NASDAQ right now. Brought up the micros because I do enjoy the micros. But here's another example where may have marked this as a zone. Now price coming back up to this area, many of us may think, well, price had a strong move to the downside. I'm going to take a short trade here as price is coming back up. But then we move to the right-hand side, price blasted right through that area. So then going back to unsuccessful trades, understanding, do we have this picture or do we not have this picture? Very specific and very objective. So this picture is not present here, but let's see moving to the right-hand side of the chart. So currently micro NASDAQ is at 11,755.75. Now a desired trade opportunity would be taking a short trade here. So here's a spot where I would have loved to take a desired short trade. Picking the top, price came all the way back down from there. We had a nice move to the downside. Looks like from 12,100 down to 11,500, like over a 600-point move. So remember, all about looking to the left-hand side of the chart, which is where we're going to see a lot of that information. Now, in mastering the charts, we're going to do a deeper dive of understanding why trades worked, why trades didn't, but noticing that price stopped and changed direction here. When we look left, you'll notice we have the 3 touches of support. What that does is it helps us draw our sell territories, an area that we're anticipating there to be some unfilled sell orders. Once we draw those sell territories, that helps us to understand that pivot points can give us a better visual of how price patterns are moving within our sell territory. Based on if we have a higher high or a lower high, that can cue our eyes and train them in to look precisely in a very specific area. In this case, you'll notice that we have a lower high, which means we want to be looking in this area for that leg base group of candles. You'll ultimately turn the time frame down to find that group of candles. And then what we can see here is that this desired short trade opportunity was successful because of this information to the left-hand side of the chart. This trade was unsuccessful because we didn't have this information to the left-hand side. So back testing is key, and understanding that where we want to take our short trade opportunities is all about that picture on the price charts. All righty, so I'm going to pass it back over to Jeff. He's going to go into the importance of adjusting timeframes, which you've already seen a little bit now, visualizing fractals, which is visualizing those pictures in pictures, and then seeing some more of our students in action implementing these techniques. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jeff. It's all yours.
All right. You guys enjoying this so far? I mean, it's going fast, really fast. Are you picking up a few things? Oh, great. There was a couple of questions. Caitlin did hit on a couple of them to answer. I wanted to show a trade that we just started. This is one of the things we heard the order field is that we're looking for gold. Notice how we have the resistance area, 3 touches. It's important. Okay, we have a smaller area down below that also had 3 touches, and you have to go to a smaller time frame to find it. Okay, again, it's about lining up that area to find the right picture. And as price did come back down, we found that area. Now, understanding those structures inside the buy territory are another key point of why we didn't focus on taking this area as a zone. Okay, so location is key, especially when we're using those structures within inside the buy territories and the sell territories. Okay, now we can understand the risk, and on this particular trade, using some micros, and this is important because part of the boot camp is showing that we could use less than $1,000 worth of capital and make some decent money. Now, I'm talking about small trades. Okay, not trades you're going to make thousands of dollars off a micro unless you're going to hold them for a while, but short-term trading where you can pick up 20, 50, 60 bucks on a trade, and you do that once or twice a day. Now, if you think about the math behind it, if you're making $50 a day and you got 20 trading days, that's $1,000 for the whole month. Okay, so we like to use real-time market conditions when we're describing what we teach. And this is different. We're not going to keep telling you, well, you shoulda, woulda, coulda. Okay, we like to put our money where our mouth is. And most of the time I'm using my live account when I'm doing demonstration and trading. And if the market's a little crazy, I'll switch over to the simulator. Okay, but it's important because as entrepreneurs, Caitlin and I still make a living doing some trading on top of the teaching. And of course, when we're putting out a lot of great trades, we want to be able to do the, participate in those. Somebody was asking me about the 15-minute chart on NASDAQ and looking to where it's going. Okay. And as we kind of review what Caitlin was sharing with us and actually bring in a little bit more information now that I'm spreading this out. Okay. We talk a lot about support and resistance. Okay, and the area between support and resistance is what we refer to as a dead space, meaning all the orders have been filled. When price gets back up into that range, it often just keeps going until it gets to the other side of or up to that resistance area. Okay, now if we were going to look for an opportunity to go long, we'd come down, we'd find the area where the sellers kept pushing price down and then finally blasted through it. We would outline the buy territory, which I can do real quick right now, identifying that buy territory. And within that buy territory, we are going to turn the time frame down or up in order to find the leg base group of candles. Now, as we do that and kind of walk through that process, just at a glance, I can see just in the last few moves, I can see the price went up, found the sellers, and then we got a really sharp move to the downside. Okay. And then price without stopping or giving any pullback went right through all of those areas. Okay. Now, when you do that structure and you make a lower low prior to the breakout, very often the zone we're looking for is going to be located in the lower 2/3 of that move. If you make a higher low, it's going to be located closer to the pivot. Okay. So this is the area that if you start changing the time frame down or up, and we can see at a glance at a 15-minute chart, we do have a large zone. Now, in the course material, you will learn not to be afraid of a large zone. I mentioned earlier about the late candles leaving the entry line versus the late candles inside the zone. Okay. When the late candles were bigger leaving, often price used the zone twice and went deeper in the zone. When that late candle is bigger inside the zone than leaving, it's often just a entry line entry. Okay. So price does not go too deep into the zone. Okay. So a lot of little details. We won't get into all of them, but I would be looking on the NASDAQ. If there's an opportunity to go long, I would be looking right there about that 11,614. Currently, prices are moving up towards our prep screen zone. So my trades are still out there waiting for that opportunity as well. All right, let's get back to the class. Now, adjusting timeframes, super important. Okay. It's important because you need to see that picture on a price chart, not worried about a time frame. You know, I only trade 60-minute charts, I hear people say. But the 60-minute chart has so many vast variables of what and interpretations of what people see. Okay. So we need to learn to visualize the fractals. Well, fractal is another way of saying a fractal is kind of a self-similar pattern that keeps repeating. For example, here I have crude oil on an 8-minute time frame. And we can say, well, what the heck is he looking at in here? By adjusting the time frame down to a smaller time frame, we can get a level of detail where we can see the 3 touches of resistance and start to outline that picture. Now, we don't want to be lazy about this. You want to adjust the time frame down so you're actually copying the template. The template: resistance, buy territory, the structure within helps us locate the leg base group of candles. No way I could have done that on an 8-minute chart. I had to reduce the time frame in order to see that. Okay. As far as charts, Nancy, I'm using a software. I use TradeStation, and Caitlin uses another Thinkorswim in order to process her orders and using the charts. I also use TradingView as well for charts. Okay, and seeing the picture and where we're looking for a price to move and so on. Okay. Now, everybody has their preference of brokers and charting platforms that they choose to use or have been using for many years. Okay. All right. So coming back, the assessment information on the left-hand side of the chart. Okay. So we assessed all the information. And now this becomes a forward-looking technique where as price leaves that buy territory, we are still expecting there to be some unfilled orders. Okay. And once price moves away from that, greater than 2-to-1, that zone becomes active, and then we can make a successful trade. The assessment part, as what we put together, assessing that picture, be willing to adjust the time frame up or down to get that right picture. Another way to look at this, okay, this is a older chart on DocuSign. Okay. With step 1, we just started looking at where do we desire to take a trade? Oh, I'd love to have that short trade. You know, either buying some puts or, you know, selling some premium or even just shorting the stock. That's a very good move. Okay. So find that desired place you want to take a trade short. Oh, great question. I'll come back to that in just a moment, William. Love the questions. But I think I'll answer it kind of like with this one here. So as I'm looking for that desired trade, first and foremost, we're learning, okay? We're all in that learning state of how to, but we have to learn what we want to create. Now, if I want to create a nice short trade, I have to know where to look. How do I get into a trade right here? What information do I need? The answer is look left. This is the area that I need to really dive into to get that right picture. Okay. So as we look left, I'm reducing the time frame. Now, what I'm finding first is that support area. Okay. Now, once I found that support, I could see the structure within the cell territory. And a structure made a lower high, pinpointing this area to look inside for that leg base group of candles. Now you can adjust your time frame up or down 1 minute at a time, one tick at a time, one share bar at a time. It really doesn't matter. It matters that you reduce the time frame until you get the exact picture. And as we keep digging into this, we find that leg base group of candles in the right area within a cell territory. And then what the outcome is, we got a successful trade. By using the left-hand side of the chart, we're able to find picture perfect past trades and learn from them. And this is very important. Many times I'll approach a student and say, hey, show me a picture perfect trade. And they keep going over here to the right side of the chart and they can never convince me. I want to see a trade that's already worked. And then I want to start digging into all the details that are on that left-hand side, okay, which is the support, structure, area, and then the leg base group of candles, okay. Let's see. Well, hey, we got a moment or two here. Let's see. Who was asking the question? William. Okay. What made you interested to look deeper into that 8-minute chart? Okay. Could somebody type in a chart, and we're going to go out and look at. I just want to go and kind of dissect the chart really quick, and then we'll kind of go into our wrap up here. Oh, look at this one. Home Depot, 28-minute chart. But if you have one, you can type it in. I'm going to outline Home Depot while you guys type in a couple of charts for me to look at. And then I'm just going to walk you through our 5-step process here. Now, one of the first things that I'm looking for here on Home Depot, okay, and it doesn't matter the time frame. How many see a level of resistance right here? Let me see that resistance. Well, that resistance area, as we use boxes rather than lines, okay, this whole range is where sellers kept stepping in. How do we know that? Well, price kept going back down, right? Okay. Sellers came in, sellers came in, sellers came in. Well, who was pushing price back up? Well, on the other side would be the area where we're looking for where all the buyers are at. Okay. So we call this our buy territory. And as we identify that buy territory, we now know where to look, okay, for unfilled orders. Before I start diving into that, we can see that price had a move up. Sellers came in, and now what I'm drawing is the structure within the buy territory. And we're using that resistance area as that pivotal point where the sellers pushed down and the buyers came back in and pushed back up. And this is an important part of discovery. As you start looking at all the structures you create with sell territories and buy territories, they tell you more information. They tell you about how volatile the trade will be, how much time it will take in order to stay in that trade. For the option traders, that's a big plus, okay? And whether this is going to be a very fast moving trade or more of a slow grind, okay? So as we approach this, we have a higher low. And how many already started to see that leg base group of candles? When we make a higher low, the zone is closer to where price broke out. And right near the bottom, we have leg in, base, leg out, base. Now, using this as a forward-looking technique, we can now read, we have our assessment of the market or an assessment of this price pattern, okay? And now we say, well, if and when price returns, this is where I would like to go long. This is where I'd like to place my stop loss, how I would manage the trade, okay? Now, if price is going to come back down, then we should be able to look up and left and find out where the sellers are located, okay? So as we're looking for sellers, we want to find an area where we have that support. And I might need to turn the time frame down or up to get that area. And we just start looking for that leg base group of candles. Okay. So not quite seeing the 3 touches on this time frame. So what do I need to do in order to find the right picture? What do I need to do in order to get that right picture? Yeah, change the time frame. Okay, so I circle the area first. And we're on a 28-minute chart. Let's just drop down to a 20. And then let's come back over to this area and see if we can piece that picture together. Now, what I'm still looking for is, do I really have 3 touches or do I just have 2? Okay. On a larger time frame, we're not getting that detail that we're looking for. Okay. So 20-minute, let's try 15. And as we get a little more detail on the chart, we may or may not have found that exact area. Now, if the picture is not exactly right, then don't waste your time. Okay, if you can't find it, we just continue to look up a little bit higher. Okay, we want to find where we have that opposing zone. Oh, look what we found over here. Now, in this area, can I find my 3 touches? Wow, yeah, that one looks pretty easy. Stick with the easy ones, okay? You don't have to make this complex. You know, as Caitlin mentioned several times, simplifying and making this easier for you to see on the price chart. Outlining it, getting the details of where we have those opposing zones so that we stay and have bigger profit margin potential rather than getting shaken out in all the little pivot points, okay? So now I have this sell territory up on top. Okay, I was able to find the 3 touches. Okay. As we look at the last few zigzags here, or let's just say structures inside of this, we can see that we made a lower high before price broke through and took out all the buyers in that area. So we would start now to pinpoint this area, looking for that leg base group of candles. Now, colors do matter. Okay, so in this area right now, I have some candles, but I don't have the leg base group. Okay, so the leg in must be green, the leg out must be red. So what do I do at this point? Should I turn the time frame up or turn the time frame down? Now let's go down to a 14-minute. And let's back over and find it. And as we open this up, 14-minute chart, did not have it either. Okay, so let's go to 13. Now, you may say, well, man, this is a lot of work. How much is your money worth to you? You guys want to keep gambling, or do you want some very specific pictures that you can replicate, verify? Okay. Yeah, sorry, screw over. All right, so we've gone down a couple of notches. I'm going to do this so I can speed up. Let's see, that's the 23rd, 223. What I did is just chop off the chart, okay, so that I don't have to scroll back and forth. All right, so 13-minute, let's go down to 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Oh, there we go. Okay. All the way, we had to go all the way to an 8-minute chart to get the exact group of candles. We can see that we have a leg in, a base, 2 leg outs, and a base. Now, in the mastering the charts, we go into the very deep detail on what those parameters would be. So now we have our leg-based group of candles. We started roughly with a 30-minute chart. Let's put the price back on the chart. And now we see where our opposing zone is at, okay? Now, as we start building this together and we go from one buy territory to the sell territory, then we can see what that playing field looks like, okay? Are we still at the beginning of this move, okay? Or are we well into it, okay? At either rate, we now have a qualified opposing zone for our profit margin potential. And what we would visualize is price coming back down and give us our entry, and then we would look for price to go to our opposing zone, okay? It's a very specific method and approach. We do this in a live market. We do it in front of students. And, you know, we take our stops just like everybody else does, okay? So what I'm going to do is bring Caitlin back in. She's got some of those final announcements, some times, some things to put together. And I like the questions. You guys have been great in there responding to the questions and putting things together. How do you feel about what you've seen so far? Yeah, you're touching on that, Williams. That's great. All right, I'm going to flip the mic past it. Well, you got the screen now. Okay, so.
Wonderful. Thank you. And I just want to touch on, I think it was Carrie who commented. Let me find that comment that she said, which I thought was pretty profound. It's all about learning the skill. So absolutely, you know, we need to be very systemic and, you know, have a process for being able to look for these pictures on the price charts. So by doing this process over and over again, you can really solidify your way of learning and being able to implement this on any price chart and really any time frame. So excited to say that, yeah, we'll work in Forex, futures. You can even implement option strategies once you visualize where price is likely to change direction. So looking for, you know, if you find some buy territories, you may look to sell options that are out of the money. Or if you find some sell territories, you can sell calls that are out of the money, different strategies, but ultimately it's all about visualizing that picture on the price chart. I'm sorry, Carrie, my bad. Oh no, it's because I have a cousin named Carrie who's a girl, but sorry about that. Alrighty, so what you get with Mastering the Charts event. So again, we're so excited to have you guys sign up and love all of the comments and the questions in the chat. What's so great about our 3-day event is that we allocate time for your questions where you guys can ask us anything you're still struggling with, anything you need a little bit more clarification on. We want to make sure that you get those addressed so you can see things clearly moving forward. You know, that's something that's always helped me is the ability to ask those questions and feel comfortable so that I could, you know, change what I was doing for the better and really hone in my craft of where I was looking to buy and sell in the markets. So our event is December 10th, 11th, and 12th, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern time. You guys get the 3 full days of our interactive, comprehensive trading education, really knowing when to buy and sell, especially during these crazy market conditions, being able to understand that process of drawing buy and sell territories and find where those unfilled orders are at is going to be key with your trading in the markets. So what we've added, you know, with our last Mastering the Charts is you guys get that 1 month of recap sessions on Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern time. So it's not just 3 days and you guys are gone. You guys get the 1 month of recap, which is nearly 2 hours sometimes going into, you know, recapping what you learned in those classes and being able to implement it and seeing how you're able to draw those as well. That gives us a chance to kind of critique what you're seeing, maybe give input and really give you that one-on-one feedback in those recap sessions. And then you also get the 1 month of the instructor-led Discord group sessions, Thursdays and Fridays from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. As Jeff mentioned previously, those are more laid back, casual. You guys have the ability to share your screens and jump on the mic to really say, here's a chart that I'm looking at, and we can give you that feedback along with other students in our sessions. Jeff,
Yeah,
anything
in those sessions, the instructor-led Discord group sessions, we have traders from all different backgrounds, different levels of education in trading. So we're constantly learning. Some things I like to talk about are Fibonacci lines and things like that, time extensions. One of the conversations we've been having in our Discord our trading sessions is using the volume weighted average price, almost like a magnet where price comes back to, and then it's almost like a Keltner channel or a Bollinger Band, if you're familiar with some of those. But price always tends to revert back to the mean. So even in the overnight session, we've been using some of these techniques and the tools, which have been absolutely fun to keep sharing more in-depth information. And I mentioned Chris, one of our students from our Discord room, doing the tracking of the crude oil and natural gas, and how it's just amazing how much she's grown just by tracking and documenting information. Using those, and she chimes in and tells us where things are going on those specific products. She has been just an amazing, it's just been an amazing transformation. I can't say enough about it. It's really exciting to watch all of you grow in your learning. So.
Yeah, no, it's truly amazing seeing our students learn. That's what makes us proud, is seeing our students implement what they've been taught, and seeing the right pictures on the price charts and finding those buy and sell opportunities is really what it's all about, and being able to get you to that point where you can see those pictures. So in total, over 42 hours of trading education, and that includes all the recordings, the content, and supplementary materials from those sessions. So I see a question, can I pay with a check? So through our website, I believe you have the ability to pay through PayPal, credit card, or debit card, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, on that one, but I believe it's credit, debit, or PayPal. Again, okay. So the event dates again, so make sure you utilize the holiday discount when you go to the checkout screen. Maybe I can even bring that up now just to show you guys, because we want to make sure that you're taking advantage of the one-time holiday discount. There's also limited seating in both the Mastering the Charts class as well as the Futures Trading Bootcamp. So keep that in mind as well, just to make sure that you're utilizing everything that we're giving to you guys for that holiday offering. But you'll click on, when you log into your account on the elitetrade.com and you go to products, you'll click on Mastering the Charts, which is the main one here. So you'll see it says join now for $14.95. When you click on that though, you'll have the option to enter your promo code here. So that should be JOY. And then when you hit submit, that'll give you the $300 holiday discount for our December special. So make sure you use that when signing up for the Mastering the Charts event. And you can also scan the barcode here. What you get with that, so just want to emphasize more detail of what you get, since you're getting over 42 hours of that trading education. You're going to experience the live trading room on Monday. So Mastering the Charts is Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Why we've structured it that way is that we give you ample time to learn how to, draw these and, build that foundation on Saturday and Sunday. Come Monday, we're implementing it in the live markets. You guys are going to see how we how we create our prep screen, how we're looking for our long and short trade opportunities, and really putting all the pieces together of everything that you learned from the Mastering the Charts event. So again, that'll be Monday, December 10th, 11th, 12th. So on December 12th is when you'll start implementing everything that you learned. We also do give you homework. So that's a good thing as well, where you can submit your charts in and we can give you that live feedback in our classes each day in our Mastering the Charts event. Also seeing our prep screen, recap screens, how we choose those areas. You guys will have a much better understanding of why we're choosing those zones based off of what we teach you and Mastering the Charts. Also the Thursday, Friday instructor-led Discord group session. So very nice screenshot from one of our sessions we had a little bit ago. But again, students have the ability to turn their cameras on, turn their mics on, share their screen. We really love for these sessions to be interactive and engaging. So you guys can let us know what you're looking at, and we can all, give that feedback, not only from Jeff and I, but from each and every one of our students as well.
And that back one slide, you guys see that entry? And where we had our stop?
Yeah, let's zoom in on that.
You can see the excitement, even just taking a micro, that is a nice little bounce. Now, how many of you like to get trades like that? There you go. So this is what we teach, this is what we cover, how to get into trades, how to have those orders set up like that. Okay, and it's fun watching the students meet their goals. Sometimes the meetings, oh, I'm done, I gotta go, see ya. And some just like to hang out all day and learn little new things. So it's a great time.
It's so much fun. And William, that's personal preference. That's completely up to you at that point. But yeah, just some more setups from our Thursday, Friday Discord group sessions. Even in the volatile market conditions, we're finding these great trade setups based on those price patterns that we're seeing and teaching you guys in mastering the charts. Some more of our students in action in the Discord group, just implementing what they've learned. We're giving them direct feedback on the online Discord group, as well as in the Thursday, Friday Discord group sessions. We got many of our students that you can see giving us their chart setups, which really is what takes them to the next level as far as their trading and understanding where to get in and where to get out of trades. And then the big one is the Mastering the Charts recap sessions, really created to reinforce what you learned in Mastering the Charts. Those are also structured where you guys can share your screen, talk on the mic. We want to get your feedback and learn exactly what you're seeing, or maybe what you're not seeing, so that we can help you to get on the right track with those. You'll get 1 month of the Mastering the Charts recap sessions. Those are every Tuesday and Wednesday from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern time. Again, very interactive. So sometimes we'll ask quiz questions to make sure you guys are understanding what you were taught and exactly what we're looking at when we're taking trades in the live trading room. Also, if you guys are new, so I think we have a bunch of new people here as well, check out some of our recent YouTube videos. So our YouTube channel is The Elite Trade. We have a lot of our previous videos there if you want to take a look. Both Jeff and I do offer one-on-one coaching as well. So that's on our website if you're interested in that. And then again, just recapping everything you get from Mastering the Charts, 3 full days, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern time, over 42 hours, plus you're getting that holiday discount of $300 off. You get the 1 month of the recap and review sessions, as well as 1 month of the instructor-led Discord group sessions upon completion of the Mastering the Charts event. And then if you're busy, you can't attend all the days, you guys get all the recordings, content, and supplementary materials through our website, theelitetrade.com. So again, to register for Mastering the Charts, make sure you scan that barcode and use that promo code JOY for that $300 holiday discount, bring it down to $11.95, which includes all of the 1 month follow-up sessions. And then our futures trading 3-day boot camp. So more beginner to intermediate, just breaking down how to use futures, trading micros. If you have a more limited budget, trading with less than $1,000 of capital, we'll go into a deeper dive of how to do that in our 3-day boot camp, November 30th through December 2nd from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. And that's going to be $295 for that 3-day event. Just some more of our testimonials and fun things that we've done with our Mastering the Charts students over the years, but just really appreciate you guys and love to see our students succeed in their trading. Our goal is to help you guys to become successful traders and see the charts more clearly. We also have just other ways to contact us. Our Twitter is @TheEliteTrade. Our website's theelitetrade.com. We have our YouTube channel. And then you can always email us if you have any questions at all at theelitetrade@gmail.com. Any questions? Chris, thank you so much for coming. We'll see you tomorrow. Anything else that you guys have questions on? Jeff, anything that you'd like to add?
I would just like to go back in, how many saw the gold trade that we were doing here? One thing that I want to reiterate is that, Caitlin and I use real-time charts, real-time market conditions, and we blend a lot of that in place, okay? But this is just one of many trades that we have set up today. We understand what our risk is. We talk about the risk and how much we have to risk on a particular trade. In this case, I'm only risking $30 on, got a couple of micro gold set up and looking at my potential profit to the upside. Now, I just took I ran a calculator real quick and I said, okay, what's the price if you use the promo code? It's okay if you don't use the promo code. I like that better, but if you choose to, it's roughly about $1,200. Now, thinking about that, if $1,200 divided by 20 trading days, you get about $60 a day. Okay, that's just to pay for the course and the 42 hours. Okay, well, I guess take the 42 hours divided by the same. It's a really inexpensive but very profitable venture for you guys. Okay, if you need to assess prices on it. In a live trading room, many times the students and us are taking some of these live trades, and heck, even if you get $25-50 a trade, you're still doing really well. Okay, and we want to encourage you to keep taking those profits and so on. Very exciting to be seeing all you new folks out there, and we just really look forward to working with you all. And Nancy, we're both located in the Phoenix area now, Arizona. Thanks, Cindy. All right, so I don't have anything else to add at the moment, other than we'd love to see you in the boot camp. Love to see you in the Mastering the Charts. Scan that barcode now and get the details, and let us know if you have any questions.
Yeah, if you have any questions at all, remember our email is theelitetrade@gmail.com. I'm going to post that in the chat for you guys. Sometimes some students may get the email wrong, but it's theelitetrade@gmail.com. So any questions, feel free to email us. Everyone also will get a copy of the recording upon completion of the event. You guys will get that recording as well as all the sign up details. Just again, the key thing here is using that promo code to activate your $300 discount, one time only. And again, there's a limited number of seating in these events, so make sure that you sign up in time to use that promo code. Any other questions? Yeah, thank you so much, Cindy. You do amazing in our sessions. All right. I don't think there's any other questions. Thank you guys so much for coming. And again, any questions, if you think of some later, please email us at theelitetrade@gmail.com.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day, and maybe we'll see some of you in class tomorrow. So have a great evening, and thanks for joining us.
Have a great evening, everyone. Bye-bye.